As always, I can remember my dad taught me two things. Number one, never trusted anybody with the name Edgar. And number two, your house is an investment and you should buy a house as soon as you can because it is the best investment that you can make in yourself. And this idea has been carried on by, quite frankly, real estate salesperson, people, and real estate lenders, because this is what we were taught. We were taught that housing is an amazing investment. And for the past decade, there's been a lot of proof of that because, someone so-and-so bought a house and sold it 5 years later and they made hundreds of thousands of dollars and, they're real estate chads, right? They're amazing. So what if I were to tell you it was a bunch of crap? What if I told you that the reason why housing market has been so amazing is because we're in a recovering market and this is not a normal market that we're in. And perhaps you should not be looking at your house as an investment because it's a very limiting belief. These are all things I'm going to talk about in this video. And also I want to really specifically talk about the way we view housing is going to change from now on. Right now, what you're feeling is this insanity of houses selling quickly and much more faster and for a lot more. And people's panic maybe has to do with this new reality that's setting in. Of course, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment below. I just had a comment of someone telling me that they didn't even listen to anything I said in the video because there's some paint on my glasses. So that's the beauty about shooting in 4K is you can see all of my imperfections. Good luck finding any. Just kidding. Don't let me know in the comment section because I'm very sensitive and I don't want to cry anymore today.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at a personal house of mine that I bought in September 2016. I had just sold my first house and my son was 1.5 years old and we didn't have air conditioning in our first house. So I said, you know what, son, I'm an amazing dad and I think it's time for you to feel air conditioning in Arizona. I'm kidding. We did have AC in that house. It was just like one big little thing off the window. It was a small house, okay? So don't make me feel bad. But anywho, we sold that house and we bought our first, I would say, suburban house because the first one was kind of in the rougher area. This house was purchased for $200,000 and we put about $9,000 down. So we owe about $191,000. I looked at an amortization schedule and as of today, if I would have continued to make the payments, I would have owed about $170,000 on it, okay? And I had a $1,100 payment, so $1,100 is what I would be paying. And for the sake of this video, we're just going to focus on the mortgage payment. But if you're a homeowner, you do have to pay utilities, you have to pay for repairs that come up. So, we have to factor that in as well. But that's the picture that we have in play. So since I'm an amazing real estate genius, some say the next Warren Buffett of real estate, Buffett because I have been gaining too much weight, though, not buffet. I would say I'm the next Warren Buffet because I can't stop eating. What's Spanish for Warren? Wario Buffet. Sorry. So I decided to sell that house 2 years after I bought it. We wanted to be in a specific area for the school district of our dreams and the area of our dreams. And we saw the opportunity 2 years later. So we got rid of it, sold it for $230,000. Didn't make a lot of money on it, but we jumped ship, right? So what would that house be worth today if I kept it? Do you want to take a guess? Want to take a gamble? According to Zillow, $320,000 to $350,000. Start the violins. That means if I would have sold it, let's be conservative and put $320,000, I would have made about $150,000 of equity. Yeah, I know. Terrible. That's about $30,000 a year if through the 5 years of equity. So yeah, I know. Like I said, there's all part of the plan because right now I bet you feel bad for me. So guess what I'm going to do? I lost $150,000 so I can make sure to get a like from you. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Make me feel a little better and helps them with the algorithm. So if we look at the expenses, right? So if it was $1,100 per month, that means that we multiply that by 12. It's about $13,200 per year. Multiply that by 5. It's about $66,000 in the span of 5 years that I would have paid. So yeah, not bad. $66,000 and turning into $150,000. It's almost 3 times, almost tripled my income, right? But once again, we're not looking at utilities and repairs. So let's just kind of look at the mortgage. I'm sure after everything, it'd be closer to like maybe 70 or 80,000. So if you look at these numbers, it makes sense why people tell you that housing is an amazing investment. And you probably heard of other people that have held their house for longer and they made all this money and life is good. But here's the truth. This is not a normal market. We have not been in a traditional market. We've been in a recovering market. If you haven't heard, there was a huge housing crash in like 2006, 2011 area, right? So if you look at a price range, which my editor is now putting on the screen, you can see that there was a big crash and a big adjustment. And we caught up to the prices where they were like in 2018 and 19. So we've already passed the point of where the prices were. So the big dip, now we're in what people call a housing bubble because it looks like a bubble. It's starting to kind of boil over. So it's been super easy to make money in this market. You just literally buy any house. And not only that, but let's be honest, the last 10 years, it's been an extreme buyer's market. You've been being begged to buy a house with down payment assistance programs, sellers paying your closing costs almost every other time. Yeah, I mean, just the amazing deals there were, you know? Like I remember in 2014, 15, you could buy a house for like 200,000 in an amazing area. And now those houses are worth 400,000. So it's really a different time. So what's funny is like from 2011 to 2013, when I got into the business, people were still feeling the fear of the past 5 years, right? So they were still feeling that effect. Even as early as 2016, people would still reach out to me and go like, Javier, I want to buy some foreclosures. There's no more foreclosures anymore, man. They're all gone. There's a very small percentage. You have to buy them cash now. So my point is that people still kind of live in the past 5 years of what they currently are. So right now, you as a home buyer, maybe not you because you're being educated here, but most home buyers expect two things. Expect sellers to help them with the closing costs, and they expect to pay around the same price that's on the list price. And they're doing this because for the past 5 or 6 years, that's what it's been. It's been a normal recovering market and buyers were in the favor. Well, this past year or two, it's completely shifted on its head. And now buyers are in a position where they need to come up with more money or really be in a good position to buy. So that being said, I promise I'll get to these points. Let's look at my house specifically here. So what happens if there was like an alternate dimension, right? Where I'm actually really buff and handsome, where I actually held on to my house. Instead of selling it, I held on to it to rent it out. So how would that look like? Well, here's how it would look like. Average house price range should increase about 3 to 5% per year. So if I had that house and it increased 5% per year, I'm estimating about it would be worth about 260, right? So it's 5% per year, and I'm of course I'm rounding up. So you know, all you math whizzes, feel free to prove me wrong, but I'm rounding up. I would have made $90,000 of equity. And if we subtract the $66,000 that was for the 5 years of mortgage payments, I'm at about a profit of $24,000. Now, once again, I'm not considering the utilities and all that stuff. You're still in a good position where I still made some money because, you know, 5% is pretty favorable. But that means every year I only made about $4,800. Okay, so $4,800. So that means every year I live in my house, I have a $4,800 gap. And as long as I don't pass that amount and I don't spend that much in my house, I will be profitable. So that means if we divide it even further, $400 a month. So if you spend more than $400 a month in that house, if it was a normal market, you were technically in the negative for that month. So that means that if you have a few months where there's no repairs, great, you're in a positive. Or if your utilities are not under $400, then you're in a profit. But if you're thinking what I'm thinking right now, there's almost no chance in heck that you don't spend $400 on your house, right? So utilities and everything else. So if you really think about it, this $90,000 profit that you're making, you know, subtract the payments, you subtract the utilities and the cost of living in the house, you're not really making that much money. But what you are getting is you're getting your money back, right? The money, the $66,000 you put in, the utilities and everything else you put in, you're getting that back in a normal market. And it feels like you made a profit, but in reality, you're just kind of putting your money there and getting it back, which is awesome because you lived in that place for free, basically, if you get all your money back, right? So in its traditional sense, I believe that's what housing should do. Now, unless you get extremely stupid lucky, like, you know, Javier Vidana decides to move in the area and now it's popping, or maybe there's a development of new construction or a new, they just decided to build something nearby, or there's a new school district rating that just made everybody go crazy, that you take the chances on these things that'll increase your value further. Or maybe everyone decides to start remodeling their house, etc. There's a lot of options that could happen. Unless you get stupid lucky, maybe you might increase 5%, but your average return of 3 to 5% usually would mean that you would get your money back when you sell, or maybe make a little profit, or maybe make a little less. But the point is you get something out of return. Compared to renting, where if you did pay $1,100 of rent and you put that for 5 years, $66,000, you're not getting $66K back. So I don't care what, and all these clickbait videos saying
Renting is not bad.
I don't care. I disagree 100%. And this isn't being me real estate agent. It's just pure math. $66,000 you'll never get back. $66,000 that you might get back plus utilities. I'd rather take the might get back every single time. I don't care what happens. Now, here's the thing. What has been the percentage of growth in this market? Well, it's been as 10% or as high as 20%. Last year, Phoenix market values, where I'm from, 20% is the average growth. It's insanity. So yes, your family members, your friends, your realtor lenders have been in very good market the past decade, and they're still stuck in that mindset of it's a good time to buy. But I'm here to tell you, if you have this idea of you're going to buy this house and sell it 5 years later and make 100K, I'm here to snap you out of that. This idea of how we look at housing is going to change it completely. It's hard to buy a house right now. People feel that pain, and they're not going to want to feel that pain soon. So I guarantee you that this idea of having your house for 3 or 5 years and selling it, which almost everybody, not everybody, but a large percentage of people have been doing, is going to stop. It's going to turn into a longer hold kind of situation, or even, you know, there might even be generational, where someone keeps on their house and then passes on to their family members, which you hear about this in the movies and in the shows and whatnot, but you rarely see nowadays. Well, this insanity of a market, I think, is going to start creating that effect. This is why I think that if you're looking to buy a house right now, good. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but you do not have this idea that buying a house is this amazing investment where you're guaranteed to make a huge profit. Instead, have this idea of money I put in every month, I'm going to hopefully get back when I sell it. That's it. If you make some profit, great. If you maybe you don't make a profit, you make a little less, well, at least you get the majority of it back. But compared to renting, you're at least getting some money back. Now, yes, you're putting yourself at risk. Let's say there is a magical unicorn market crash that happens and you lose half of your value. Well, guess what? If you hold on to it for a long term, it's not going to just stay down here, because then it'll be like apocalypse, like Mad Max style stuff. No, it's going to eventually start going up, and it'll eventually catch up. And the point where you retire or you want to sell it, even if you're at a loss, you're going to get some of that money back you put in. And compared to renting, you wouldn't have gotten anything. So, is housing an investment? No, and yes, it is an investment because you're getting some money back. You're putting your some finances at stake. You're putting a down payment down at stake. But when you sell it down the road, you have the opportunity to get some of your money back. Are you going to be at a positive or a profit? Maybe, hopefully, I hope so. But you're getting the majority of it back. It's compared to renting, it's much more profitable. And you're running the opportunity or the chance that something might happen in that area that you might get a bigger 5% return, right? Instead of 5%, it might go up higher. So you run that chance, but it's dangerous to assume it's going to be like that. So here's why I think it's a limited belief. I think we've been told our entire life to save money, then buy a house, then save money, because no one's educating us on other things. Like, there's a lot of great channels out there that are teaching that. I've been kind of teasing how I'm starting to explore that world now. You really want to make sure that your house isn't your only investment. Don't limit yourself this thought that your house should be your only investment. And that's not true. You can buy a house and still be allowed to research and look into other forms of investing. Shouldn't be your only form. Don't let them limit you just into housing. Look at other things, look at other options. And in regards to housing being an investment, well, maybe we should stop trying to have houses and sell them every 3 or 5 years and instead holding on for a longer time. And if you're not prepared to buy a house and own it for 10 or 15 years, maybe it's not the right time for you to buy.